We've been solving equations using one step. Today we're going to take that and stretch it a little bit further and solve using multiple steps. If you look at this equation, you'll notice that we have multiplication right here and addition. So we have to do the inverse operations of those in the inverse order that they are done to the variable. So if we look at this, if you were to put a value in for C, the first thing you would do is you would multiply it by the 3.95. Then you would add the 19.95. So to solve this, we're going to do the inverse or the reverse of it. You can still use the wall theory here. So we're going to start by getting rid of the addition. And to get rid of the addition, we are going to subtract first. So we are going to subtract 19.95 from both sides of the equation. And that's going to give you 3.95C is equal to, that's a 9.5 right there, is equal to 43.45. Then, to get rid of the multiplication, we are going to divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 3.95, and we get C is equal to 11. Now, remember that you can check that. So I'm going to go on my calculator. I'm going to go 3.95 times 11 plus 19.95 to check this. And when I hit enter, I get 63.4, and there's your answer. So we're going to do some problems, and what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video for each one, do it, and then come and check your answer. All right, so here we go. Ready? Subtract 10 from both sides. That gives you 8 is equal to 4A. Divide both sides by 4. 2 is equal to 1A. Check your answer. Make sure that it is right. Okay, pause the video again. Add 2 to both sides. That gives you 5T is equal to negative 30. Be careful with your signs. Then divide both sides by 5. T is equal to negative 6. Check your answer. Make sure that it's right. Oops. Okay, there's my wall. All right, start by adding 4 to both sides. That gives you 7x is equal to 7. Divide both sides by 7. X is equal to 1. Check your answer. Okay, now you'll notice we're doing these with all kinds of numbers. All right, so here it is with decimals. Doesn't change what you do. Add 5.7 to both sides. That's going to give you 7.2 is equal to 1.2y. Divide both sides by 1.2, and that gives you y is equal to 6. You'll notice how I leave the variable on the side where it started. Okay, and that way I'm not flipping things back and forth. All right. Now I've got fractions. Now, I can go ahead and do this with the fractions. So I can start by adding 3/4 to both sides. In order to do this, I have to have a common denominator. So this is going to be 7/12 plus, and this will be, oops, times 3, 9/12. Let's erase that. Okay, so this is going to be 9/12. And that's going to give you 16/12 is equal to y divided by 8. And then we're going to multiply both sides by 8. Now, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and cross cancel first. 4 will go into here 3 times. 4 will go into here 2 times. And so that's going to give me 32 over 3 is equal to y, which is going to work. Now, I have another option for you. If you do not like fractions, then my option is for you to take a look at this and take a look at the denominators and say, what is the common denominator between 8, 4, and 12? 24. So take this whole entire equation and multiply by 24. That means the 24 gets multiplied by the y over 8. Let's write this over here. 24 over 1 times y over 8. 8 will go into 24 3 times, so that's going to give me a 3y. Then I'm going to go 24 times 3/4. So 24 over 1 times 3 over 4. 4 will cancel with 21 to give me a 6. 6 times 3 is 18. All right, my equal sign drops down. And then I'm going to go 24 over 1 times 7 over 12. 12 will go into here 1 time, will go into 2 times. This gives me a 14. Okay, now watch this. This is so cool. Add 18 to both sides, and that gives you 3y is equal to 32. Divide both sides by 3. Guess what? Same answer that I got just a minute ago, but easier to work after I have eliminated the denominators. So you might want to try this one. Again, you should be pausing the video to do these. I would multiply everything here by 10. So 5 will go into 10 2 times. 2 times 2x is 4x. Minus 2 will go into 10 5 times. 5 times 1 is 5. And 10 times 5 is 50. You can put your wall there. Add 5 to both sides. So plus 5 plus 5. 4x is equal to 55. Divide both sides by 4. You can leave it as an improper fraction. Check your work. Okay? So the question is, how do you decide what order to do them in? And does it make a difference? Be able to answer that question. Okay? All right. Sometimes you'll have variables on both sides of the equal sign. If that is the case, then we need to collect them all on one side. In order to do that, we have to use inverse operations, but it's always going to be addition or subtraction because you want to move the whole entire term from one side to the other. To decide what to move, sometimes you might want to just be thinking, oh, it would be so nice if my coefficient was positive, so that might help you decide which side to collect them on. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at our wall right here. And the first thing I notice is that there's ends here and ends here. So I need to get rid of the ends on one side and collect them on the other. I can either subtract 7n from both sides, or I can subtract 5 ends. I've had people say go for the smaller one. So I'm going to subtract 5 ends from both sides. That's going to give me 2n minus 2 is equal to 6. And now we're back to solving them the way we did this a minute ago. Add 2 to both sides here. That gives me 2n is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 2. N is equal to 4. Again, do not walk away from here not knowing whether you got that right or wrong. Okay? Sometimes you have more complicated ones. You might have to simplify each side by doing the distributive property and combining like terms. And that's merely all you're doing is simplifying each side. Here's like a little reminder. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can solve equations if I follow these steps. Step number 1, simplify both sides of the equation. Use the distributive property and combine like terms. Step 2, collect your variables on one side. So that means get rid of them on one side. And step 3, use your inverse operations to solve the variable. Okay, so here's a hard one. Let's go ahead and do this. This puts all of it together. There's my wall. So look at one side of the wall at a time. Look at the left-hand side and simplify it. What can go together? Well, negative 6a and positive 4a are like terms. Those go together to give me a negative 2a. Nothing happens with the 4. So I'm done with the left-hand side of the wall. Go to the right-hand side of the wall. I see the distributive property here. I see subtraction in front of it, so I'm going to change that to plus the opposite, and now I'm going to distribute. So negative 5 times 7 is negative 35, and negative 5 times negative 2a is a positive 10a. I still have the negative 1 in the front. These two are like terms, so those can go together to give me negative 36 plus 10a, and then this side is still 4 minus 2a. Okay, your equal sign's right here. That was all step number 1. Step number 2, get the a's on the same side. I would really like a positive number in front of my a, So it would be best if I add 2a to both sides, and that's going to give me 4 is equal to negative 36 plus 12a. 10a plus 2a is 12a. Now, inverse operations, add 36 to both sides. That's going to give me 40 is equal to 12a. Divide both sides by 12. Now, I'm going to reduce this. All right, I know that 4 will go into both of these. 4 will go into here 10 times. 4 will go into here 3 times. So my answer is 10/3 or 3 1/3. Okay, try this one. Again, you're going to do the distributive property here. Okay, that's going to give you 1/2 b plus half of 6 is 3 is equal to 3/2 b minus 1. If you would like to get rid of the fractions, you may do so by multiplying everything here by 2, or you can simply finish working it out like this. I can get the b's all on one side by subtracting 1/2 b from both sides. That's going to give me 3 is equal to 3/2 b minus 1/2 b is 2/2 b, which is 1b minus 1, and then finish it up by adding 1 to both sides. 4 is equal to b. This is not bad. This is not hard. Okay? An identity is an equation that is true for all values. Sometimes that means that you have an infinite number of solutions. Some equations are always false. So if it's always true statements, you're going to have infinite number of solutions. If it is a false statement, you're going to have no solution. And here's how you find that out. You're going to be working away. You're just going to be working along, following the steps. All of a sudden, the variables disappear. If you end up with a true statement, like maybe 0 equals 0 or 7 equals 7, that means that regardless of what you put in there for the variable, the answer is always going to work. If you're working away and the variables disappear, but you end up with a false statement like 0 equals 3, because it does not equal 3, or 6 is equal to 12. It does not equal 12. That's basically saying regardless of what you put in there, you're not going to be able to find an answer. So here's an example for this one. Again, pause the video to do this. You're going to simplify both sides. There's your wall. This is going to give me 11 minus 5x is equal to negative 5x plus 11. I'm going to start by trying to collect the variables all on one side. So I'm going to add 5x to both sides. And what happens? Gone, gone, and I'm left with 11 equals 11. True statement, infinite solutions. Try this one. Again, simplify both sides. If it helps you, put the wall there. So simplify the left-hand side, and that's going to give you 12x plus 1x is 13x minus 3. On this x, 5x plus 8x is 13x minus 4. My next step will be to collect them all on one side. So subtract 13x from both sides, and I end up with gone, gone. Negative 3 is equal to negative 4, which is not true, no solution, and that is it.